boys and girls, we waited so long for footy season to come, and it finally comes, and it was joyous, and I was very happy. And then a couple of days before the season's about to start, we got hit by the Rona storm. And boy oh boy, was that a big bustling bad news Barry for me to hear. We thought the games weren't going to go ahead, so we were very sad. But then all of a sudden, Big Gilbert said, the games must go on with empty stadiums. That's a bit wacko jacko, but you know what? I was happy for it. I was happy. Footy with no crowd, it's going to be a bit weird, but at least it's footy. So we're enjoying our round, and what happens? It all gets shut down. That shit gets shut down. Footy's off for 12 weeks. Boys and girls, it's your boy Young King Cookson here, and I am ropeable right now. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is my second ever round review, even though the negative tone of this video. This is Cooko's round review.
Cooko's weekly round review with Cooko.
The music stopped there though, because it's not a happy time. Rona has ruined the season. This is going to be the first round review of the season and possibly the last of 2020. So strap in and here's my review of one of the wackest first rounds you'll ever see. You know what? Let's enjoy it. Turn the music back up. Let's enjoy the footy that we had. It could potentially be the last ever round of football ever. Nevertheless, this is what's happened. On Thursday night, we kicked off footy for the first time ever at a 100,000 seated stadium with 0 spectators. But boy oh boy, it was wacko jacko looking in the stands with absolutely no one there. Richmond, Carlton, 2 of the biggest clubs in the AFL, and they had no fans there. This game, it was just a Tigers training drill, wasn't it? They started off very sharp with, you know, all the boys getting involved. Jackie Rewalt, Dusty, all doing their thing. Yeah, they didn't really get out of third gear all game until the Blues had a bit of fight in the third quarter. Paddy Cripps eating the footy as per usual. Jack Silvani didn't have that many touches, but he was lively. Yeah, the Blues had a fair bit of it after the first quarter and really dominated the game, really, the proceedings of game. Just going inside 50, the Blues really struggled. But you guys like Casbolt and Jack Silvani and Jack Martin did very well to make contests for balls that they were really not to their advantage. But that's alright, the Blues had 12 weeks to get that right for round 2. In the current climate of the Rona, COVID-19, would you believe it? Paddy Cripps is going around licking his hand. You're one of the best in the game, but that doesn't make you immune to Rona. So keep some safe practices. Like the safe practices we saw Jackie Rewalt do in the first ever interviews of the weekend, where we had Jackie Rewalt and all the players on a microphone about 4 meters away from the interviewee. Quite bizarre stuff, but yeah, the Tigers really never got out of second gear until the Blues made them, and yeah, the Tigers ended up winning by 24 points in not a bad way to start the season. Not the best, there's a few complaints, but you know, it is what it is. It was what it was anyway. And then we move on to Friday night footy, the first Friday night game, and we're going, this is a bit weird. Marvel Stadium, the first ever time Marvel Stadium with 50,000 seats has 0 people in it. But luckily there was room for Tyler Brown's family, grandma included, to, you know, see the young fella make his debut. Not often I watch a game of footy and it just makes me happy inside and really warmed me. But when Tyler picked up the ball and passes to Cal, older brother Cal, my oh my, that tickled me right there. I was pumped. The Pies had it sort of their own way all game, and yeah, it was very good. Tyler looks very capable at the level. Obviously Cal's a very composed player and very strong and fast and yeah, composed, and Tyler showed he's no different. Fair bit taller than young Cal, but no, they're going to be a good little duo if they ever get to play again. COVID, man. All the Pies boys dominated really. Grundy had one of his best games. They had their air high fives going on. And yeah, Tay Adams had a very good game as well. It was very good. As well as Pendlebury. All the Pies boys, very good football playing. And they set the tone for the weekend with this team songs. You can't touch, but boy oh boy can you have the energy and the rhythm. They looked like they loved it, and it was very good to see. But yeah, in the end, the Pies way too strong. 56 points against the Dogs, who are a top 4 fancy. So we're gonna have to wait 12 weeks to see if that is the case. The snooze fest of games was sure to finish with the Saturday Arvo game of the Bombers and the Dockers. And it was good to see that essential personnel only was a law that we stuck to with this one. But how has young Alistair Clarkson snuck into this? Has he punched a hole in a wall to get through into this game? Because he was up there taking his notes, and I'm not sure who let him in. I don't think anyone did let him in. There's probably no saying no to Clarko, really. The Bombers came out very, very hungry with your Townsend, your Stringer, your Dev Smith laying aggressive tackles. Forward pressure is very, very good, and yeah, the Dons looked like they were going to run away to an almighty win. For the first half, the Dockers just were soft. They didn't want any of it. The Dons' pressure had them scared. They were making mistakes because they were worried where the Bombers were coming from, and it just wasn't great, really. But it was a theme of the weekend that, you know, terrible ball use was often the downfall of the team that was behind. Funny that if you don't kick it to your team, you don't do too well. And they had a rare inside 50 in the first half. Michael Walter was all on his own. All he needed was a little bit of a shepherd, but no, he gets spoiled by his own teammate, Matty Taberner. Don't you worry, Matty Taberner got a bit of a spray, and I think rightfully so from Sonny. He wants that forward 50 isolated, and if you're coming in, it's to help him out, not to spoil his mark. Geez, he came good later in the game, Michael Walters, and showed real class. Tried to put the Dockers on his back alongside his young man next to him, Sam Sturd, who kicked 3 goals on debut, and 3 crucial goals they were. Shout out the young fella, his family were absolutely loving it up on the upper deck, but it wasn't enough to get the Dockers over the line. The Dockers tried for 1 quarter and lost by a goal, so could they be in the right team, or did Essendon just really lay off the pedal? Someone who didn't lay off the pedal all game was Nat Fyfe, going in hell for leather, and it showed with his eye looking really nice. And he showed that eye off even again on Instagram later with the shades, and oh, it swelled up a beauty, nice and purple. Even Fyfe's eyes got the purple haze. The excitement was to continue after Essendon and Freo had made the close games start for round 1, with the Swans and the Crows going up to Adelaide Oval to have a hit out. And this was Rory Sloane's 200th, one of the best blokes going around in footy. I don't think anyone doesn't like Rory Sloane. I can say from personal experience, one of the great guys, and it was very good to see him run out as sole skipper for the first time in his 200th game. Awesome to see. And they had him mic'd up, and he was quite entertaining.
Yeah, baby! Oh, damn, baby! Here it is! What a day for football! What a day to kick a big... Go Crows! Woo!
But yeah, hearing that's a skipper who wants to play, and you'd want to play under that man. Great bloke, great leader, goes in hard, and he's pumping all the fellas up. And then he kicked a goal and kept the yeah babies coming. So we love that from Slooney. And the Crows came out hot. Tex kicked 2 first quarter goals, which was good to see, putting on a show for one of his best mates' 200th. Then the Swans started to come into the game with little Tommy Papley kicking a snag, and he put on one of the best celebrations of the weekend. I love that from Tommy Papley, bit of character. Tex had a chance to win the game. There was about a minute left on the clock, and he's about 55 metres out, and he takes about a minute to take his shot, leaving 15 seconds on the clock when he misses. He wanted to be the hero. Tex, I think he should have just wheeled and had a crack. If you miss, you've still got 45 seconds to try and get a goal from the Sydney kick out of defence. But nah, Tex was quite selfish there, and we expect better if he good mate's 200. He started well, and then selfish things like, if he kicked it, you know, I wouldn't have even mentioned this, but it frustrated me seeing him not leaving any time left for you know, a hustle goal if it didn't quite go through. And after those 2 exciting afternoon games, the snore fest continued. I didn't watch too much of this game, the Suns versus Port, but from what I saw, the Suns, yeah, they're not leaving the bottom spot anytime soon. Port did play very well from what I saw. Georgiades kicked his first goal, the man who loves to take a hanger. And he flew for a few hangers as well. I don't think he took one, but yeah, I didn't watch too much of this game because Port had it under control. So sorry if you're a Gold Coast or Port fan, but I don't have too much to say on it. Other than it's a power clinic, and shout out to Rao and Anderson. Anderson had about 10 touches in the first quarter. I think Rao came into the game as well. And the other game that I watched more of was the Giants versus the Cats. And this was one of those games where the Giants really just showed that they're a better team. Geelong came and kept coming, but every time Geelong came, the Giants just kicked a snag and just said, we're too good. Like, just give up, because every time you go harder, we go harder. And you're never going to get hard enough. Coming and hard, Jesus, sounds... it doesn't even sound like I'm talking about football anymore. Without football for the next few weeks, my next round review might be a P-Hub review, if you know what I mean. and these phrases will become a bit more common. But no, it did show that the Cats haven't dropped as much as people were predicting them to throughout the Marsh series, with them really struggling, that they can match it with potentially the best team in the comp. And they didn't quite have the class, but fair play to them for staying with them all game and making the Giants win the game, not beating themselves. So Geelong had a crack, just not good enough. But yeah, I think in 12 weeks, when we get back to footy, if we do get back to footy, the Giants are going to be making a big sound. The first game up on Sunday Arvo, after a couple of ball fests on Saturday night, was my Roos boys taking on the Saints. And I was told by many a Saints fan that they were going to run all over us. And that's exactly what they did in the first half, with Bradley Hill taking the piss. Didn't get as many touches as he probably should, but cutting us up, hitting nice targets. Dan Butler looking quick, looking good. Yeah, the Saints, they weren't great. The Roos were really quite bad. In the second half, we took the piss out of the Saints and started to run all over them and play really good footy for about 10 minutes. The Roos played 10 minutes of good footy, and it's enough to get the win, with, I believe, Ben Cunnington kicking the snag that put us in front, and ultimately the winner. There was a last-ditched effort on the line from a couple of boys to smother Paddy Ryder. But yeah, everyone talking about Rowan Marshall being the third best ruck in the comp. I think Goldie says, hang on fellas, I'm clearly the third best ruck in the comp. Healthy Nick Nat, Goldie says, I'll comfortably take fourth place, but I know I'm better than Rowan Marshall. Yeah, very quality from the Roo boys. Actually, not very quality, we weren't great. We played 10 minutes of footy and got the win. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in 12 weeks. But I'll tell you what is good. I get 12 weeks of the Roos being undefeated. We're as good as any other team in the comp. We're up there. We're undefeated. Imagine this if the season stops. The Roos undefeated for all of 2020. I know 8 other teams are undefeated for all of 2020 as well if that happens, but I care about the Roos. So, you know, how good. Amazing. That's all I'll be talking about. After that ripping game where the Roos get up by 3 points, we went over to the G for the Hawks and the Lions. But yeah, it was I don't know, I didn't watch too much of this game either, if I'm honest. Lockie Neal and Tom Mitchell had their yearly who can eat the footy ridiculous amount of times more off. And they're both pretty humble numbers. Pretty impressive for Tommy Mitch coming back and having 25 touches, but pretty humble for his standards. Does the 60-minute quarters have something to do with that? Probably, but Lockie Neal took the cake with 26 touches himself. So those two ridiculous ball winners had themselves a little afternoon. It was probably about half pace. They both had a few 50s in their time. So in 12 weeks, wait to see those boys' numbers go up ridiculously. But yeah, the Hawks won by about, I don't actually know. I could check it right now, but I'm going to say I can't be bothered. So I'm going to say they won by 28. I could be wrong. But very influential was the 37-year-old Sean Burgoyne. Kicked 3 snags. That bloke doesn't look 37. He doesn't play 37. Let the man go till 47. And the last game of the week was the D's and the Eagles. The Eagles came out and just showed they're a lot better than the D's, let's be honest. The D's didn't play too bad. They had a crack. They didn't really get anything going the way they wanted it to, but they hung strong. Much like the Geelong GWS game, the D's were just clearly not as good as the West Coast Eagles, and the Eagles just sort of said, it's going to go this way. And the D's said, oh, we're going to try our best, but they just couldn't stop it. Jack Viney had about 34 touches, which was a bit of a madness. But yeah, the Eagles were basically in second gear all day. Liam Ryan took the piss a bit. Tim Kelly was quiet in his first game, wasn't bad by any stretch, kicked a goal. Just looked comfortable really. He'll do big things in 12 weeks. But yeah, the Coasters win by about 27. Again, I'm not going to check. This isn't a factual news article. This is my video that I'm making. If I don't want to check, I'm not checking. I'm grumpy, alright? Have a look at the ladder and geez, you're joking, aren't ya? The Roos go undefeated, and of course we're the team that didn't win by enough and they're at 9th. Undefeated and we're 9th. We could finish the season of 2020 undefeated and still miss out on the 8. That is typical North Melbourne behaviour, and it won't sit with me. But nonetheless, let's hope footy comes back soon. 12 weeks is the minimum. I've said that many a time throughout this video, but let's hope it comes back. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you didn't, drop a dislike. If you did, drop a like. Drop a sub or I'll kiss your dad. See you everyone. Thanks for watching. Good night. Goodbye. All that